Hey, it's Nikki again. It's day 7 on Zepbound, and I wanted to share with you the outcome of this last week. I promised to keep it unfiltered and real. I have my notes here because I just covered so much ground in this one week. It was just an amazing roller coaster, and I wanted to share that with you. So first, I want to get really real and talk about the emotional effect because right off the bat, I experienced a 6-pound weight loss, which should have made me happy, right? But actually, it made me fearful. It made me think, what if this is not real? What if I'm the one person that this is not going to work for? What if I'm wasting my money? What if this is water weight? All of those different what ifs that rumbled through my head. So it was a major emotional roller coaster for the first few days. Speaking of roller coaster, digestive distress is real. In the first 24 hours were fine. I had just the mildest tummy ache and this sort of sense that I was, uncomfortable, but nothing really. But then thereafter, it hit me hard, and it really felt like my body was going through a detox. Like like a physical detox. My body was a little bit achy. I felt like things were just purging out of me. Let's just say that. And that went on for about 2.5, almost 3 days. And then we did a complete flip, and it became the exact opposite. So I have been constipated since Wednesday. I started this on last Saturday, and I have not yet gone to the bathroom since Wednesday. So I'm a little worried about that, and I have a call with my doctor on Monday to talk about this. But I have no discomfort. I'm not bloated. I don't feel uncomfortable. I'm not, like there's no hardness or anything like that. It's just I haven't gone to the bathroom. Let's talk about the appetite, because that's the big thing that people talk about, right, on these drugs. And yes, I could definitely say that it suppressed my appetite, and I had to remember to eat solid food. I was careful not to go to the gym right away, because as someone who's worked with fitness for my whole life, the one thing I know for my own body is that if I work out when I'm not feeling 100%, then I know that I'm compromising my immune system even further, because your immune system is required to help your muscles heal from and recover. And so if you're not careful with that, you're going to feel the effect of that, and it might just affect your body even further. So I did modified workout at the gym. In fact, I told my trainer that I was on this, and so he modified our program. And in spite of that, like, I was a little bit dizzy, I would say. Today, on the other hand, I went full bore for my spin class, and I felt really, really strong. And so, like I said, I'm on day 7, and that makes me feel really good to know that I could go full out and give it my 100% in the gym. The appetite, though, I felt the suppressed feeling, like in terms of like not feeling hungry and eating small portions. I'm still experimenting with how small is too small. As someone who's been passionate about food and exercise my whole life, I'm aware of the amount of calories that your body needs to fuel. And at some points, I felt like I wasn't doing that well. But there's a very fine line, because if I wasn't careful, then if I ate too much, then I would feel like a stomachache coming on, which I think is a side effect of the drug, of Zepbound, or of any of these drugs, I think. But, so I'm still experimenting with what portion is the right amount. So that's the quantity control piece. The more unsettling part for me, as someone who loves food, is the taste. So we were at a restaurant yesterday, and I was finding the food really salty. And I had my husband taste the food, and he was surprised that I was finding it salty, because he said at this level of salt, I would have normally been the one to add more. So, and I was finding it almost too salty to eat. So I'm wondering if that is as a result of the medication. And so that's something I'm watching for. I'm a little unsettled by that because what if this alters my taste so that my favorite foods don't taste the way my memory of those foods, like what if it doesn't taste the way I remember them to taste? Like, because we have so many memories attached to the foods that we eat. I have so many stories of that I was raised with, and not being able to connect the food flavor, not being able to experience the same flavor, I feel could alter my connection to my memory, and I'm afraid of that. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with this. I did have a margarita last night, and again, I felt like it was a little bit off. My husband said it was a really well-made margarita. So I'm kind of, cautiously watching where this goes. Why am I sharing this? Before I get into that, actually, let me just share with the numbers. So I started at 143. I weighed in at 143 pounds last Saturday. And immediately after I had that digestive distress for a couple of days, my weight went down to 136.9, which I haven't seen the underside of 140 pounds in a very long time. And while I was pleased with that, I'm cautious about that number as well, because I don't know if it's because of the water weight, the detox. I don't know if it's real, and I hope it is, but it's only been a week, so I'm going to give it its fair shot and see what happens. I did go from 143 to 136.9, and then I went up almost 2 pounds, so I'm like 138.7 this morning. So I also felt hungry a couple of days ago. So I have this fear that, maybe it's a yo-yo thing, like with everything else. Like maybe it'll work and then it starts to wear off and then I go back. And I don't know if that's real or whether that's a fear that I have at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see. So I'm sharing this with you because maybe you're thinking about this GLP-1, maybe you're on it and you're feeling the same kind of fears. The thing that I know beyond a shadow of a doubt is that when we think we're alone in an experience, we're actually not. There are other people who are going through the same thing with us. And I'm hoping that if you're going through this or some version of this, that you'll comment below and share with me so I feel like I'm not out there, talking to myself on this journey. If you're curious, feel free to reach out and comment. And so that's it. This is week 1, unfiltered, hopeful, scared, optimistic, and doubtful all at once. I had told you this was going to be the real deal and not a highlight reel, and I'm committed to that. If you want to hear more as we continue into these next few weeks, please do subscribe, and I look forward to continuing this journey with you. Thank you so much for listening, for watching, for your comments, and I will see you next Sunday, week 2, to see whether my fears are justified or just noise.